Please go ahead. Go ahead. Oh, fake news, CNN?
No.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. Wait till you hear this question.
Thank you, sir.
You should really say how great our soldiers and our warriors are.
I think everyone appreciates our soldiers and our warriors. I do have two questions for you, Mr. President. You just cited Israeli intelligence on these attacks. Earlier, you said U.S. intelligence was inconclusive. Are you relying on Israeli intelligence for your assessment of the impact of the strikes?
No, this is also Iran made the statement. And it's also, if you read the document that was given, that Pete can talk about if you'd like, the document said it could be very severe damage, but they didn't take that. They said it could be limited or it could be very severe. They really didn't know, other than to say it could be limited or it could be very, very severe. And you didn't choose to put that because it was very early after. Since then, we've collected additional intelligence. We've also spoken to people who have seen the site, and the site is obliterated. And we think everything nuclear is down there. They didn't take it out. Okay.
Over the last few days at the NATO Summit, President Trump and Pete Hegseth took this time on the world stage to make sure that everybody is aware of the left-wing, extreme, lamestream media radicalized programming that they have been putting out, where they take stories and they spin them. They take really good news of the Trump administration or President Trump, or even good news for America, and they got to always have a big but behind it. They might say, well, hey, they did this, but it's not as good as it could have been. This was done, but it's always this big but that want to keep that fringe group of people in their party always afraid, always scared. I saw a recent video clip of a 74-year-old Democrat woman who lives up in Connecticut. But she was going to one of these No Kings rallies, and she was crying because she said, and this was on MSDNC, that was interviewing this lady on the street, and that's MSNBC for those who may not know. But they were interviewing her, and she just said, you know, everything I see is like, we're going to lose everything. Everything is gone. And she was crying because 90% of people who are 65 years old and up still look at the lamestream legacy media. And specifically CNN, well, not too many people watch CNN at all anymore, but MSDNC still gets about 1.3 million views. And those are from people that are 65 years old and up, 95% of their viewers. And their viewers is only a fraction of Fox, but still, that's a large group of people that are freaked out. And you know, the older generation, they come from a time frame where you trusted your government. And there's no way the government would lie to you. And they trusted Walter Cronkite and CNN analyst Wolf Blitzer and all of these people. They literally believe everything they say. You know, it's the news. They wouldn't lie on the news. They don't know that Barack Obama, when he was leaving office, he put back into law that the news media could make up a propagandized story, where before that could only be done in other countries. And the lamestream media and other outlets are trying to say, oh, that's not true. That's not true. Yes, it is. When you go in there and you look at it, it's worded. And when you go and you define those wordings, you'll realize in a very, very legalized way, and you know how that legal jargon is, they have legalized the news media to propagandize the American citizens. Now, why do I bring that up? Because here at this NATO Summit, where, you know, the countries get together, the heads of state, and they literally plan out the, you know, what each country is going to do and how it's going to harmonize, because it's everybody together on this one blue ball floating in God's massive and infinite universe. So they get together at these summits and they spitball. Well, at this one, when the media got their chance to ask questions, President Trump and Pete Hegseth punted the media. I'm talking about embarrassed CNN, embarrassed New York Times. Matter of fact, let me stop jaw-jacking and let me let you check out President Trump in this one clip, because I got a few doozies for you. In this one clip where he calls the lamestream media exactly what they are, and he does it in their face. Check this out.
This was an unbelievable hit by genius pilots and genius people in the military, and they're not being given credit for it because we have scum that's in this group, and not all of you are. You have some great reporters, but you have scum. CNN is scum. MSDNC is scum. The New York Times is scum. They're bad people. They're sick. And what they've done is they're trying to make this unbelievable victory into something less. Now, even they admit that it was hit very hard, okay? But it wasn't hit hard. It was hit brutally, and it knocked it out. The original word that I use, I guess it got us in trouble because it's a strong word. It was obliteration. And you'll see that. And it's going to come out. Israel is doing a report on it now, I understand. And I was told that they said it was total obliteration. You know, they have guys that go in there after the hit, and they say it was total obliteration. And you know, I don't want it for me. I want it for the pilots. I want it for the military. They did such a good job. If you were in the Situation Room with me, with the generals and all of the people that did such a good job, and then they get demeaned by these idiots at CNN who can't get ratings. The place is dying. Nobody wants to even waste their time going on their shows. So they form with the New York Times, who's dying also. Without Trump, you wouldn't have.
And Trump's, what he's about to say is about to be right. Without him, really think about it. Where would those networks be? If they weren't just spewing Trump derangement 24/7, where would they be? Now, here's the kicker with that. These folks are so fake. I mean, we just witnessed the fact that Jake Tapper, who is a revered member of the lamestream legacy media, literally put out a book called Original Sin, talking about the cover-up of the Biden administration that he helped cover up. And they were literally giving each other awards for Russiagate, which turned out to be completely fake and fabricated. But as late as 2024, they were giving each other Pulitzer Prizes. And Pulitzer Prize is like the highest achievement you can get as a journalist. It's like the MVP of the NBA or of the NFL. It's insane. And so the lamestream media has the nerve to get offended when they're called out to. Now, in this next clip, let's listen to Secretary Pete Hegseth as he really puts them in their place. And remember, y'all, this is on the global stage. But let's check out Secretary Hegseth as he's punched these journalist questions all around the summit and embarrasses them on the global stage. Check this clip out. If you're enjoying this video, do me a solid, hit that thumbs up, because I'll never ask you for a cash app or a super chat, but you hitting that thumbs up, it helps get the information out there, and we appreciate it. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. And whether you're subscribed already or just subscribing now, make sure that you hit that notification bell and then select all. That way you'll be notified when I upload new videos. YouTube hasn't been doing a really good job of notification, so make sure that you hit all so you won't miss the new videos coming out.
There's a reason the president calls out fake news for what it is. These pilots, these refuelers, these fighters, these air defenders, the skill and the courage it took to go into enemy territory flying 36 hours on behalf of the American people and the world to take out a nuclear program is beyond what anyone in this audience can fathom. And then the instinct of CNN, the instinct of the New York Times is to try to find a way to spin it for their own political reasons, to try to hurt President Trump or our country. They don't care what the troops think. They don't care what the world thinks. They want to spin it to try to make him look bad based on a leak. Of course, we've all seen plenty of leakers. And what do leakers do? They have agendas. And what do? Do they share the whole information or just the part that they want to introduce? And when they introduce that preliminary, a preliminary report that's deemed to be a low assessment, you know what a low assessment means? Low confidence in the data in that report. And why is there low confidence? Because all of the evidence of what was just bombed by 12 30,000-pound bombs is buried under a mountain, devastated and obliterated. So if you want to make an assessment of what happened at Fordo, you better get a big shovel and go really deep, because Iran's nuclear program is obliterated. And somebody somewhere is trying to leak something to say, oh, with low confidence, we think maybe it's moderate. Those that dropped the bombs precisely in the right place know exactly what happened when that exploded. And you know who else knows? Iran. That's why they came to the table right away, because their nuclear capabilities have been set back beyond what they thought were possible because of the courage of a commander-in-chief who led our troops, despite what the fake news wants to say.
Now, with Pete saying all of that, right? You know, one thing about the lamestream media, they cannot stand it when they get called out. They do not like it when the mirror is turned around on them or when the rabbit has got the you-know-what. They hate it. And so whenever somebody calls them out, especially on a global stage like that with so many other well-respected journalists and networks, and for CNN and the New York Times to be called out like they were, oh my God, it completely made Dana Bash almost lose her mind, to the point that she had to come out and address it. And she does. So let's check out what Dana Bash has to say as they're just getting destroyed across the board. And let's think about why. Rather than say congratulations to our pilots, rather than congratulating the president for going in and weakening, if not completely dismantling, Iran's ability to get a nuke. And as anybody knows, Iran with the nuke, here's why that's bad. Is because Iran supports Hamas and the Houthis. These are organizations that truly believe in terror. They believe in power through destruction. This isn't a political thing. This is their ideology. They're a radical sect of the Muslim faith that truly believe that they get virgins and different things for giving their life. So they're looking forward to sacrificing their life to be able to get, their just dues. This is what they believe. So when you give somebody like that nuclear power, and they also make it aware, how can anyone ever come over and help the people of Iran that are under terrorist leadership? How can anybody come and help them if they have a nuke? What country is going to put their military on the forefront for certain death, destruction, and annihilation? That's why. And here's the kicker where they say, oh, well, they have a right to use nuclear energy. Here's the kicker. They were making uranium or processing uranium at such a rapid rate that in order for uranium to be made into where it has nuclear power, it has to reach a 90. Right now, Iran is enriching their uranium at 60, which is far above, way above what you even need just for nuclear energy for the population to use. The production of nuclear energy does not require the high levels of processing that Iran is doing at all. They're also trying to make ICBMs. And what an ICBM is intercontinental ballistic missile. Okay, so these are some of the things that they are working on that they definitely have. It's just in different pieces. It's not all combined. And if you're enriching uranium at a 60, and all you need is to get it to a 90 to have a nuke, you know what I mean? Why are they enriching it at 60 anyway if they don't have any plans of making a nuke? When it's way above what you need just for nuclear energy and power. So it's not about saying Iran can't have a nuke just because U.S. is the big bad brother bully. No, it's the idea. There's a lot of countries that have nuclear capability. But knowing that this country is ran by radical Islam terrorists who want nothing more than to bring death and destruction onto the West, you can't have it. And you got people like Joy Reid and Whoopi Goldberg going on saying that Iran is better than America is for black people. It's just nuts. When over there in Iran, you're not having free and fair anything. You're not being gay in Iran. That your life will be taken. You're not protesting the government over there. Your life will be taken. Women can't even show their freaking face. And you comparing it to America? These left-wing extremist radicals will get somebody's life taken. I'm so happy they booted Joy Reid off TV. And Whoopi Goldberg is next because they are buffoons. And they are an ignorant representation of black people. Because we don't believe that BS race hustling crap that they keep spewing. But let me get into Dana Bash. I apologize, I got off track. But check out what Dana Bash does in her effort to kind of try to save face for CNN after them being embarrassed at the NATO Summit. Check this out.
For a couple of reasons. Number one, because Kelly O'Donnell did a great job trying to get information out of the president in the face of sort of some personal attacks on her and the rest of us. But much more importantly, this was not anything to do with the U.S. military or their abilities or their, patriotism, anything at all. This was a report on an initial assessment by one intelligence agency, full stop. And as you said, the president didn't like it, but it has nothing to do with the men and women of the U.S. military. And that was a tell. The fact that he keeps harping on that and is trying to manipulate the conversation to make it like the reporters who are reporting on something that part of the U.S. government is trying to figure out has to do with not liking the military, which is just ridiculous on its face.
Yeah, you know something about these people that really irks me? It's like when they try to get there, they just love law enforcement, as if we don't remember that for the last 3, 4, 5 years, CNN covered it, supported it, MSDNC did. When the Democrat Party was screaming defund the police, CNN wasn't coming out speaking out against that. Dana Bash wasn't against that. Joy Reid just sat her dark-skinned, loud-mouthed, ignorant self on CNN just recently, spewing propaganda saying that the Trump administration didn't want gay people in the military, which is a lie. Transgenders are not allowed to be in the military. But if you're gay, who cares? We've had gay in the military for forever. Or should I say, for quite a few years now. But the fact that we can't have a transgender man that wants to be in a dress in the military, you know, but these media, these talking heads, they get on here and we have them on video either supporting or being silent. And in a lot of ways, your silence is supporting it. So if a Dana Bass act like, oh my God, we could never be against the military, you sure enough don't support them. You sure enough talk down on them. You talking down on the federal license agents. Y'all talk down on the military. Y'all talk down on law enforcement. But yet, be the first one screaming and crying for them. If somebody's trying to break in your house, take what you got, rush you. These people get on my nerves with their hypocrisy. And it just makes me sick. And I'm so happy that President Trump and Pete Hegseth stuck it to him at the NATO Summit on the global stage to show these fools that those days of this propaganda are done. Their networks are dying. The people are coming to the internet, listening to independent journalists. They got it brought to them. CNN, the New York Times, egg on their face, embarrassed, and I love it. So President Trump, Pistol Pete, appreciate you for doing that. Other than that, man, if you hung out and watched this far, I really do appreciate it. If you haven't already, hit that like button. If you aren't already, subscribe. And most importantly, I want you to stay safe and you be great. I'm Brian Maxwell saying I look forward to seeing you at the top. Over and out, y'all.